Hey everyone, it's Brooke, and I already have 15 books acquired in February, so I thought I would go ahead and film a February book haul. Book buying habits are changing, though. I'm trying to be a little bit more stringent, so just enjoy this one. Who knows when the next one will come. The first book I'm going to talk about is the book I am currently reading, so it will feature in my February wrap-up, and that is The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cake by Aimee Bender. This is a book I'm buddy reading with my best in real life friend, and it's about a girl who can taste whoever makes the food sheets, she can taste their emotions, and so she knows what they were feeling at the time that they made the food sheets. And it focuses on her family, her mother and her father and her brother, and the things that she learns about them through about 8 years of her life. And it's very good so far. So I will be updating y'all soon on how it all shakes out. The next book I bought was because I desperately loved The Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante last year, and I really wanted to continue reading her books, and so I decided to go ahead and start the Neapolitan Quartet, which is begun by the first book here, My Brilliant Friend, with the most ridiculous cover. But I think this is about two female friends and kind of their lives growing up, and I've heard people kind of call it epic and like mythological almost in a sense. So this is the very next book I'll be picking up, so hopefully you will also hear more about it in my February wrap-up as well. The last book I read was The Accidental by Ali Smith. This is a book about a family who is on vacation or holiday, and a random woman in her 30s kind of insinuates herself into their lives. She shows up at their door, and each member sort of deludes himself into believing that she's there because of someone else in the family, when in reality she's just a perfect stranger. And it kind of focuses on how each person in the family reacts to her, and the truths they learn about themselves, and how they the things they do or change, or the lives they lead after she leaves their life. So I will have more about this again. February wrap-up. At least I'm reading what I'm buying, right? A book I requested from the publisher, so I absolutely did not pay for this, full disclosure, and that is The High Places, Stories by Fiona McFarland. She's the author of The Night Guest, which I have on my shelves and have not read yet, but I heard really good things about this collection. One of Australia's major young literary talents, and likewise, The High Places is remarkable in its psychological richness and the precise, tightly controlled language in which its characters' thoughts are revealed to us. The everyday Australians, carpenters, insurance salesmen, mall security guards who populate its pages find themselves in perhaps more ordinary circumstances than those in The Night Guest, but their inner lives are no less mesmerizing, whether we are reading about a 14-year-old girl's private, intense attraction to her bohemian mother's boyfriend, a naturalist's crisis of faith as his mind unravels in the malarial heat of a remote island, or an exotic animal vet who severely injures an elderly man in a car accident on the night of her wedding. So, short story collections are just, my kryptonite. I don't even care what they're about. I just read them. Next is the short story collection for my Goodreads reading group, a brief reading. It's the February selection, and that is Some 40 Tales from the Afterlife by David Eagleman. This is very short, and I believe I think he's a scientist. At once funny, wistful, and unsettling, Some is a dazzling exploration of unexpected afterlives, each presented as a vignette that offers a stunning lens through which to see ourselves in the here and now. So yeah, it's just 40 different takes on the afterlife, and I do think that David Eagleman is a... Oh, it doesn't tell me, does it? Is this? So David Eagleman is a neuroscientist, a Guggenheim Fellow, and a New York Times bestselling author. He is the author and presenter of the BBC. What? Well, PBS series The Brain. At night he writes fiction. His books have been translated into 27 languages. I think this is going to be a fun, fast read and really intriguing. The afterlife and things like that. I'm not really religious or even really believe in the afterlife, but stories of the afterlife are just, I like reading about them a lot. A comic I just got, you guys, I am totally changing the way that I buy comics. I have decided to stop reading single issues for the most part, because I just I feel like I frivolously spend money and single issues are just getting abysmally expensive. And so each week I'm going to buy one trade. It's just how I'm going to do it. I look forward to doing it that way. I read so much comic news and listen to comic podcasts that I'm always kind of up to date on what's happening anyway. So I'm okay with kind of slowing down and just reading a trade at a time here and there, the stuff that I really love. The first trade I got was Cinder by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. This is volume 1, 10 stars. Dustin Nguyen has a beautiful art style, first and foremost. He is known for his sort of very watercolor art. Jeff Lemire does young child characters very well, and this follows a little robot boy in this kind of, big galactic future world where robots have been outlawed. Like, there was some upheaval and there was war, and anyway, so they've been kind of banned, but there's this one little robot boy left, and it's like what happens when people start to discover his existence. I have read the first few issues. I started this series when it first started last year and then decided to trade wait. So finally picking it up, and I believe the second trade is out soon. A book that I also did not buy. There are several of those in this collection. Yay. It was sent to me by the lovely Kelly from What Kelly Reads. She got a duplicate copy, so she sent it along to me, and that is Crystal Eaters by Shane Jones. I'm not entirely sure what this is about. It's published by $2 Radio, which is one of my favorite indie publishers. It says, Remy is a young girl who lives in a town that believes in crystal count, that you are born with 100 crystals inside, and throughout your life, through accidents and illness, your count is depleted until you reach 0. As the city encroaches daily on the village, threatening their antiquated life, and the earth grows warmer, Remy sets out to accomplish something no one else has, to increase her sick mother's crystal count. An allegory, fable, touching family saga, and poetic sci-fi adventure, Shane Jones underlines his reputation as an inspired and unique visionary. So that sounds really good. It's a beautiful little tiny book with deckled edges and French flaps. Then I went on a little book shopping trip with my book club, and we went to a local bookstore in Decatur, Georgia called Little Shop of Stories, which focuses on kids in middle grade and young adult books, but does have a pretty well curated adult section. So I picked up a few things there this past Sunday. The first thing is an essay collection by Maggie Nelson, The Argonauts. I've been meaning to read Maggie Nelson for some time now. This is published by Grey Wolf Press. They do some really great essay collections from women writers. This is a genre-bending memoir, so I guess it's more memoir than essays. She does have essay collections, though. A world of auto theory, offering fresh, fierce, and timely thinking about desire, identity, and the limitations and possibilities of love and language. It binds an account of Nelson's relationship with her fluidly gendered partner and a journey to and through a pregnancy, to a rigorous exploration of sexuality, gender, and family. An insistence on radical individual freedom and the value of caretaking becomes a rallying cry for this thoughtful, unabashed, uncompromising book. That sounds so good. I love things about gender and family and sexuality. Those topics really interest me when I'm reading nonfiction, so I can't wait. Heard amazing things. I also picked up on that trip The Vegetarian by Han Kang, which have heard nothing but really extraordinary things about. I think this is a really sort of a twisted, creepy book, a beautiful, unsettling novel in 3 acts about rebellion and taboo, violence and eroticism, and the twisting metamorphosis of a soul. That sounds amazing. It says, before the nightmares began, Young Hai and her husband lived an ordinary, controlled life, but the dreams, invasive images of blood and brutality torture her, driving Young Hai to purge her mind and renounce eating meat altogether. It's so short. I'm actually really surprised how short it is, but it's beautiful. Highly, highly excited for this one. And then for Black History Month, which I will be reading in February, I picked up Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson, which is just all of the awards. Like, there's barely room on this cover for all of the awards. It is a told in verse, and it's the story of Jacqueline Woodson and what it was like to grow up in the 1960s and 1970s in the North and the South. She was raised in South Carolina and then later in Brooklyn, New York. So I think it was her experiences growing up African American, living with the remnants of Jim Crow and her growing awareness of the civil rights movement. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. I've never read a book in verse, but I think this is a great place to start. And I meant to read it last year, didn't refuse to get past February without having read it. And then this was sent to me from Prepositions, whatever. Brittany from Under the Radar Books sent this to me. It is The Orphan Master's Son by Adam Johnson. This is his big, did it win the Pulitzer, National Book Award? I don't remember. Oh, Brittany has little stamps. That's so cute. It centers around North Korea. I don't necessarily know entirely what's going on, but it won a lot of awards, and I've wanted to read it ever since. And now his short story collection also won the National Book Award and is getting all of the praise. So I want to start here. So I'm going to. So thanks to Brittany. 2 comics I've also gotten in addition to Cinder. The first is The Wicked and the Divine, Volume 3, Commercial Suicide. The story continues. Really looking forward to finding out what happens after that Volume 2 ending. And then in my Landfall Freight box, I got We Can Never Go Home. This is by, what are their first names? Comics, they just love their last names. But then I never know what the hell their first names are. Unless I just know them. Boss, Campbell, Hood, Kindlon, Rosenberg, Skirty, Todd Walsh. There you go. This is about teenage misfits. Duncan and Madison are on the run. The only things they can count on are their superpowers, a handgun, and each other. Oh, here's all of the creators' names. It's on the back. So, art by Josh Hood and Brian Level. Colors by Amanda Skirty and Tyler Boss. It's written by Matthew Rosenberg and Patrick Kindlon. So, yeah. It's published by Black Mask, which has really been getting, that is a new publisher, and they've really been getting a lot of praise recently. I don't know what this is about, guys, beyond that little blurb. Adult. As I flip through this, they're on the run. All right, well, I'm gonna go on the run with them. I have really heard so many good things, and I know a lot of people put this on their best of lists last year, so, and I've also heard it reads really well in trade, so excited. I also picked up another book from an author who I have their other books, but I haven't read anything. The Unfinished World by Amber Sparks. Short story collection. I think this is fairly magical realism-esque. Hailed as the master of the fantastic, Amber Sparks dazzles with a bewitching breakthrough collection that affirms her singular talent for rendering the apocalyptic and otherworldly hauntingly familiar. Yep. Heard nothing but phenomenal things, and the cover is gorgeous. It really reminds me a lot of Anne Valente's But We Knew Her Name, so I have high expectations. And then finally, I got my Project Annotate book from the lovely Georgia over at Shelf Life. I will link her channel below. She deserves more subscribers. Her pick was The Gods of Gotham by Lyndsay Faye, so I will be reading this in March and then mailing it forward to Ellie. And this is about 1845. New York City forms its first police force. The Great Potato Famine hits Ireland. These two events will change New York City forever. So I think it's it's kind of like a crime novel, like crime historical fiction. Sounds like a lot of fun. I think this is also the first in sort of a series of detective-ish novels. So I look forward to reading this soon. And that's me done. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.